Team Discovery, made up of Alexandra Georgievic, Ryan Kelly, Catherine Martin, Amelia Messer, Farshid Zadeh, and Hyan Zane. As a team, we come from varied backgrounds, ranging from people with experience owning their own business designing, building and fitting artificial limbs, through to people who've worked in education, manufacturing, banking, and treasury. Among other things, our expertise lies in financial accounting, working with people with disabilities, resource management, analyzing business performance, financial decision-making, efficiency improvement, management accounting, bookkeeping, and attention to detail. More broadly, we're adept at time management, negotiation, entrepreneurialism, teamwork, and critical thinking. Research shows that the loneliness and social network is directly linked to the well-being of the elderly. The loneliness and lack of engagement with communities could lead to depression amongst elderly people. We also know that 70% of Australians want to die at home, but only 14% do so. As Team Discovery, we decided that our investigation of the wicked problem of how to sustainably enable people to maintain well-being and to thrive as they age would focus on helping aging people maintain their independence and mental well-being by being able to stay in their own homes longer whilst continuing to participate in stimulating activities. To do this, we will develop the Welderly app and website. It will be a database that contains details of services that are available to aging people provided by all levels of government, private business, and not-for-profit organisations. This will be done through synopses and hyperlinks to relevant web pages. Currently, elderly people are often intimidated by using the internet. We aim to make our app and web page as user-friendly as possible, but the target audience is baby boomers, people born between 1946 and 1964 are currently researching for this information as they are dealing with aging parents, and they tend to be quite computer literate. They will also form the next generation of elderly people who will be looking for these types of services as they age. The app will be geographically based, and this will allow customization for each customer, but only require content modification to part of the database. This first BMC was populated based on initial research of the wicked problem. This will be further developed and modified after peer feedback and further research. Based on peer feedback, we have learned that we need to define the problem we are trying to solve, improve funding model, identify other sources of funding, explain why councils will fund the app, and improve the presentation through graphics and visual aids. With the above peer feedback and further research, we improve our BMC as follows. Key partners. The initial design had local health networks, federal and state government departments, and businesses such as gyms and physios specializing in treatments of older people. This has since been refined to remove the specific businesses, but include web hosting partners, aged healthcare providers, the elderly and their families and carers, printers and distributors were also added as we decided to have hard copies of the database. Key activities. This has remained relatively stable. We've recently added constant research to this field as the business needs to be constantly updating the website and app with new businesses or organizations that are providing services and removing ones that are no longer relevant. Marketing was added later because we will advertise the directory to both personal customers and get them to use our site and book. Also, we will market to aged health services and products to get them to list their companies in our directory. Key resources. The only change made to this section is the addition of leased or rented office space, as we will require some for our employees to work from. Cost structure. Ongoing costs to maintain the app. Rental of office space and furniture costs of expanding. Apps require regular debugging as well as ensuring our database is up to date. To save startup costs, we would initially rent office space. However, as we increase our scope and scale, we would expand our staff levels and move to bigger premises. Value proposition. There are many websites out there that have information regarding helping elderly people stay in their homes. We will differentiate our business from others by providing a very user-friendly platform with constantly updated information. After further discussion, the following was added to this building block. Ongoing costs to maintain the app, rental of office space, and future costs of expanding. Apps require regular debugging as well as ensuring our data is up to date. To save startup costs, we would initially rent office space. However, as we increase our scope and scale, we would expand our staff levels and move to bigger premises. Customer relationships. Since our first BMC, we have added build communities through reviews and feedback and through online forums. By encouraging users to leave feedback and engage in online discussions with other users, they will feel a sense of connect and ownership with our company. Customer segments. The change to this building block is the addition of the elderly, their families, healthcare professionals, elderly-focused business. Our customers will be the elderly and their families and carers who require information on aged-related products and services. Healthcare professionals will also use Welderly on behalf of these customers. Businesses that cater to the elderly will pay to advise through us. Channels. Welderly will be an online resources. Consultants will find out from local councils what types of businesses and organisations they need access to, and the website will be updated accordingly. Revenue streams. We've decided that to be able to gain more funding and revenue, we added a subscription fee, sale of the Welderly app to end users, and service and booking fees. Businesses will pay a subscription to be able to be listed within our Welderly database. There will be a purchase fee for the Welderly app, and that will allow end users access. The concierge service will charge a booking fee for those users that book through us instead of contacting the businesses directly. We had initially included commissions from businesses for referrals along with advertising revenue, but have since decided all businesses will have the same amount of space. So our updated BMC looks like this, with the above itinerations. Before we jump into the solutions, we need to first develop the blueprint of our research to gain a good understanding of the problem. This is where research design comes from. The two fundamental questions we ask are what is going on and why is it going on. The first question helps us get the basic descriptions of problems, while the other probes into the problem deeper. The next step is to identify assumptions of our wicked problem, and they are extracted using the initial business model canvas as a prompt. The 5 assumptions are: elderly people, their families and carers are internet and app savvy. There is a lack of easily accessible information regarding products and services for the elderly. Elderly people wish to continue to participate in community social activities as they age. Elderly people would be more inclined to participate in activities if information about those activities was well presented and easily accessible. Elderly people will not be prepared to pay for access to information. The third step of the research design is to come up with our research questions based on the above assumptions and decide on the methodology, such as the collection, measurement, and analysis of data. We decided that we will use both online and hard copy survey to ensure that we do not introduce bias into the sample by collecting more responses from people who are internet savvy. The nature of the question is qualitative, as we are trying to understand what, where, why, and how. We have put no ceiling on sample size. Data is intended to be collected over a 12-week period. Respondents will be approached by advertising in senior section of the local paper, through personal approach in places where older people gather. We have structured our questions to provide us with nominal data, sometimes referred to as categorical data. This form of data lends itself best to single one-way analysis with presentation, most commonly through frequency tables. The benefit of this type of research design is simplicity. Silverman suggests that many research efforts are unsuccessful due to their complexity and broad nature. Then it will be action time. After data collection, we will analyze the data and figure out the characteristics of the problem and make recommendations on what can be done. This concludes our presentation. Thank you for listening.